We are 22 West Radio, the next wave of K-Beach. 22 West Radio is 22westmedia.com and 88.1 FM KKJZ HD3 Long Beach, Los Angeles.
Good morning, everyone.
I'm Ethan.
I'm Rob.
And this is Beyond the Ropes. This is episode...
I believe this is 53.
Yeah, 53.
Wow.
All right. So, I don't know, what do we start with this week?
Oh, man.
I've been in and out of it this week on the wrestling news.
Well,
there's more
CM
news on...
Punk's cage fight's almost coming up. I believe it's next Saturday, right?
Is it next Saturday already?
Yeah.
I didn't know it was that close. That's a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of Punk, he's going to be doing a signing in Chicago during the All-In weekend that Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks are having their big event that we mentioned last week or the week before.
The All-In?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's doing a signing at the Pro Wrestling Tees shop in Chicago, which is getting buzz that he's going to make an appearance at All-In. So.
And Booker T, he talked about it.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. He says if Punk loses his cage fight, he's going to be an All-In. Probably come back to wrestling. Dana White,
apparently,
we don't know if it's for sure, but they asked him, okay, if for sure CM Punk loses this second fight, will he be done? And supposedly Dana White says yes.
He said that last time too, so we'll see. Punk is how old? He's almost 40, isn't he? He's like late 30s. So.
But I mean, he's mentioned before if they for any reason say no more UFC, he'd go to another cage fighting company.
He could. There's Bellator, which is like I guess the second biggest promotion. I know Bobby Lashley wrestled there.
And they're still mad about his lineup card. Apparently.
Is he high up on the card?
Yeah.
I mean, he has a name. That's why.
They're telling him. I believe Dana White. He's like, well. If the other guys, can sell pay-per-view like Punk, then they'll change it.
He's built a reputation for himself in pro wrestling, so over the years, over a decade. So he has that name recognition that a lot of guys in the UFC don't have. Mm-hmm. So it makes sense why they would have him high up in the card. And if guys are upset about that, then they should really make a name for themselves. I mean, that's kind of how it works in the WWE and pro wrestling too. They put the big guys. I mean, we can say what we want about Brock Lesnar or John Cena, but they're the ones that are bringing in the audience. I mean, that's why they're still around.
I remember when Nate Diaz made a big deal about it.
I think I remember that. I don't remember exactly how it went, but
he was talking about how the pay difference is way off.
Oh yeah.
Like in WWE, it's potentially possible to make a couple million, or at least $1 million. Whereas UFC, it's only 6 figures maybe, if you're lucky.
Depending on how big of a name, yeah.
And absolutely. So he's like, you don't see me. If I could, I'd go ahead and jump to wrestling instead. Then if they want to think they could come here.
Well, I'm sure WWE would sign him. They're open. They will sign anyone. They signed the 4 Horsewomen, which were all in MMA.
And speaking of the 4 Horsewomen, oh my gosh, that was the first time seeing Shayna Baszler wrestle yesterday at the NXT.
I have not seen it yet. I saw the first 20 minutes of NXT, but I'm gonna have to catch up on that. Yeah, she's incredible, isn't she?
Wow.
You need to go back and.
She really decimated.
Dakota Kai.
Oh yeah.
You need to go back and watch her Mae Young Classic matches. She completely dominates her match with Ember Moon at the last NXT TakeOver, and the one before that too. She was dominant, and she's really something. She's someone to look out for in the women's division.
And I guess she got another challenger then.
With Nikki Cross, correct?
Yeah, she tried to take the belt, and she asked Dakota to be ref, even though it wasn't official. She did a finisher, and she pinned her, and Dakota did the pin.
So she thinks that's why she was holding the championship. Okay, because I saw that picture. Yeah. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it when I get home today. But yeah, she's definitely someone dangerous. NXT is really stacked right now with the amount of talent they have. I know EC3 had a match yesterday as well in NXT. Lars Sullivan, it was announced that he will be competing for the NXT Championship against Aleister Black at NXT TakeOver Chicago.
That dude's a monster.
He's a freak. He's literally, his finisher says freak accident. He is definitely a freak.
I like the little piano part in his
theme song.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very ominous, very kind of scary in a way, but it works so well with him when he walks down the ring.
He almost reminds me of Snitsky when he had that last look.
That's right. He does resemble him a little bit.
I can't help but feel sorry for Snitsky though, on his last run. Because he showed such commitment. I mean, at the same time, it was a little bit overboard.
He had the teeth, right?
Yeah.
All the messed up teeth.
Supposedly he dyed his own teeth on purpose to be yellow.
Yeah, I remember that. That was very disgusting to look at.
Yeah, and then I think, didn't he shave his eyebrows too? Just to be creepy.
That's right.
So he wanted to be this creepy bad guy, and in the end, he was one of the ones laid off.
Yeah, unfortunately. He was still around for a few years. I don't know if he's done anything recently, but yeah. We forgot to mention that we are on Facebook.com/Beyond the Ropes, and of course, we are currently on YouNow with the hashtag.
The Ask Questions.
Ask Questions hashtag, and of course on Periscope, which they can find us.
The live pro wrestling radio show on the map with Cal State Long Beach.
Cal State Long Beach live pro wrestling radio show. You can always follow us there, and of course we're always filming. We've got these different angles. I can see myself on camera right now, directly on me. You got an aerial shot of yourself.
Yeah, I wanted to try to get the board in, so that way they could see the technical equipment stuff.
Nice. All right, so we mentioned the UFC. Fox, as we know, is going to be hosting SmackDown next year.
I heard about. Okay, it took me a while to figure out what is playing chicken.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, that was something.
What is it?
Okay, so basically, it was. Okay, what was it? It was Fox, and they were trying to negotiate with the UFC.
Oh, okay.
And
I didn't hear about
they were
that.
debating between whether they would give the deal to UFC or WWE for SmackDown. And in the end, they decided, okay, well, UFC would give us I think 50 or something like that of their TV shows that they do.
Okay.
But then they're like, well, I mean, come on, you have SmackDown is weekly. We have more episodes. And the idea is they were saying that their demographics was kind of slipping away of the young people. Yeah,
UFC is more adult oriented.
Yeah.
And I did see something like that where they got WWE because it's more family oriented. They wanted the younger audience, so that makes sense.
And the UFC was kind of holding off, trying to say, hey, can you pick up the...
They wanted more money.
Yeah.
Right. Well, they didn't get that, and WWE got more money, $1 billion for 5 years, so that's a lot of money. And as I mentioned, there are plans to go live for SmackDown. I did read that it would likely be live, so they would shoot on Fridays on Fox starting next October 2019. The idea is that they also probably wanted to do kind of like a in-studio show, like a 1 hour in-studio show that the UFC kind of does.
Are you talking about kind of when it was New Year's and Cole would be in a room and JR?
Kind of I think it would be more like a kickoff show, you know how they do the kickoff shows, kind of like that, but in studio type, like a Sports Center type for WWE. But who knows if that's gonna happen? That's not guaranteed or anything. That was just rumored that that's something Fox wanted. I know Fox is gonna be heavily promoting WWE on other sports broadcasting. So now that they have the NFL they're gonna have some Thursday Night Football. They're gonna be promoting SmackDown on there.
It makes more sense why they had to move the day.
Yeah, so it fits in with their game plan, I guess, and they're hoping to get a lot of views. But that's good. I mean, SmackDown could become the 8th show if that's the case. I mean, it's going live. It's getting more money or around the same money as Monday Night Raw, but it's going to be broadcasted on broadcast television. So it's a huge deal for WWE. The issue was that I was reading before I got here that typically WWE has SmackDown live events on Fridays, and so they would have to rearrange the schedule, either move it to Tuesday, where SmackDown is currently at, or another day, and it would just make things harder for WWE superstars to be home and stuff. So, yeah, So that's kind of what I was looking at this morning. I'm sure there's been a lot more news about it.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about Enzo Amore. Did you hear about that?
That music video.
I did not see it.
I saw it.
How was it? Go into detail. He's not going by Real One. He's not Enzo Amore, obviously, because that's a WWE name. But he's going by Real One, which has kind of always been his gimmick.
So obviously he couldn't use like certain. He couldn't use footage of WWE. But what he tried to do was it started off with this fat dude. He's trying to give this illusion that all of us, wrestling fans, are just like in a basement and have big bellies. Well, okay.
Oh, he's to see. It's like a diss track.
Yeah, and so he's watching TV in his basement and stuff, and his mom's like yelling at him to do something. He's like, "You can't do this to me. I gotta stay committed to watching this." And like you hear the TV say something about "Welcome to the 25th anniversary of sports entertainment."
Oh my God!
The same day that he got fired.
That's right.
And so, so he's watching it and he's listening to that, and all of a sudden he gets a phone call, and he's like, "What do you mean? This is breaking news?" And he's like walking away, and it's the idea that the breaking news was that Enzo got fired. And he starts rapping and stuff. Enzo appears, and first he disses the fan, and then he starts talking about like how like he doesn't care about like I guess naysayers and stuff like that. And then, but then people were liking it. I was watching some reaction videos. Some people did like some of it, but then he gets too personal with like dissing like the person that did like accuse him of stuff.
I heard a lot of mixed reaction about it.
Many,
mostly
like,
negative that it was a horrible rap, but
well,
I don't know. It could be either way.
I mean, he has been talented in like rap, I guess, but this felt more like roast and like dissing.
It was a diss track essentially, which has become popular over the last few months.
Yeah, but there was a lot. I've never seen that much cursing in a rap. He did flip off a couple times, and I know the theme was a phoenix, and he did keep saying how he rises. But in the theme, he talks about how like he's come back from the dead or whatever.
Okay.
So you have like this like wig that looks like his hair that you can see kind of appearing in a casket. So the idea is everybody's coming to his viewing of his old career. And so this guy shows up and he's kind of walking like Vince. He threw a little, Easter eggs there, where a guy walks like Vince and like, slams the casket and laughs and like does the DX sign.
Oh my God!
And Enzo comes in and clotheslines him.
Well, there goes his any chance of going back to WWE.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are talking about.
He just closed the door on his wrestling career in WWE.
WWE is family friendly, and there were so many middle fingers.
Not only that, he's just seen the boss.
Yeah.
And disrespecting, that's not gonna go well.
But he did mention throughout the song, he says, the fans now, they finally get their moment or whatever. Sports entertainment's hottest free agent.
I don't know about that.
I noticed though that on Instagram though, Jericho is liking his post of his rap video. There's clips of his video that he's posted in pieces.
Jericho likes a lot of stuff. If you see
so there are quite a bit of big figures that are still supporting him. I know Jeff Ross, the comedian.
Oh yeah.
Likes to all his stuff sometimes.
Yeah. No, I mean a lot of the guys are still. Well, I don't know about Enzo, but I know even when guys leave or whatever, they still keep in touch with guys in the company. So.
Yeah, I mean. I don't know. I mean, I know that they say, Enzo really brought a lot of ratings to 205.
205 is doing well on its own now, though. I don't know how the ratings are.
Yeah.
I haven't kept up with that. They haven't been as, I guess, apparent as they have been since Enzo. But
a lot of people say that, like,
the show's a lot better.
If he could have debuted a rap video, he would probably had more success if he didn't do it about his personal situation.
Yeah, I think to a certain extent I understand what he's trying to do, but it's also how far can you really, should you really go? It's kind of like you gotta walk a fine line.
Because in that video afterwards, he chains up his own casket and drives it away to the desert and buries it.
Okay.
So it's like a whole fresh start for him.
Yeah, that would make sense. I mean, we didn't mention that he was found innocent, by the way. He was. So he's clear.
And and then he even mentions too, like, for all you or whatever, like as he's dissing, he starts saying, "My mama still loves me."
That's funny.
I know that I don't know if that was his mom or his grandmother or something, but even days before that, he had an Instagram post.
Mm-hmm. Of his mother or grandmother?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So basically, he's quiet because obviously he wanted to stay social media quiet for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So before he did that about how he's releasing his rap video, you see him, but he doesn't say a word. And then he gives his hand, and his grandmother or mother kisses his hand, and she's the one that says, "How you doing?"
Oh my god. Okay. Oh man.
That was something. But speaking of dissing, Scott Steiner, the typical thing that he always loves to do.
What does he do
bashing
now?
the Hall of Fame still.
Is he mad because he's not in it?
And he still says, that he doesn't understand why people are so into the WWE Hall of Fame when it doesn't have a physical location.
I mean, it's just getting recognized for what you've done.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
But he says, I remember he makes this joke and he talks about, I know that they made, life-size statues of certain people.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, where do you think they are? Where do you think Ric Flair's statue is? He goes, it's probably in Triple H's room or something like that.
Okay.
And then he goes, I bet Macho Man's statues with Stephanie.
I don't know. He's speaking of someone cutting ties with WWE, I mean, that's Scott Steiner right there.
Yeah, but although they did ask him, would you go in the Hall of Fame? He goes, if they pay me,
If they
the
pay
money's
him,
right.
If they pay, they don't need to pay him. They don't need him in the Hall of Fame. I think they'll do just fine without him.
I mean, noticing that Vince is having the habit throughout the Hall of Fames of helping one of the burned bridges come back or whatever. I don't know how to describe it. How people who have the burn.
Right, but Scott Steiner's still talking trash though. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not like.
Speaking of talking trash, I mean, I think superstar Billy Graham has been the one that he went in already. The Hall of Fame, right? And then later on, he started saying stuff.
I mean, there's a couple of people that have
done eBaying his ring.
There's a couple of people that have done that. I think I don't know if it was it Billy Graham or was it?
I think he put his own.
It was Jesse Ventura.
Ventura.
I know Jesse Ventura.
Yeah, because somebody put their own Hall of Fame ring on auction.
I think it was him. It could have been Billy Graham, but I think Jesse Ventura also has done something like that. So
wow.
There's a couple of people that still have, I guess, bad blood with WWE. Which
I wonder if TNA is still doing the whole Hall of Fame, and I guess in every way they try to make sure they don't copy WWE, because when you become a Hall of Famer for WWE, you get a ring.
Right.
And with TNA, I think it was a watch.
It was a watch, yeah. I think it was a watch. I mean, who else can they put in the Hall of Fame? AJ Styles, he's with the WWE.
Yeah,
I don't know who else.
I mean,
they put in everyone else.
I mean, you could keep focusing on the originals still, even.
Who else do they have?
Abyss.
Didn't they put James Storm in?
I don't know. I haven't paid attention since they put in the Dudleys. Team 3D.
They put in the Dudleys. They put in
Sting.
Gail Kim.
Oh yeah, she was last year's, right?
I think so. And Earl Hebner,
Yeah.
I think was the same year too. They put in Earl Hebner.
Oh, it's a miracle. They put 2 this time, right? I thought it was only
I don't know
1
if it was
year.
last year. His year might have been the year before, but
Yeah.
he shared it with someone else.
Oh.
They put in Earl first, and then they put in someone else a couple months later, I think. So, yeah, they haven't done that since.
Yeah, because normally I think it's only
it's only been one typically. There is no service in here. I can't get my news here, but yeah, I mean they put in Jarrett, Sting. Sting was the first one. Dudley's, Gail Kim, Earl Hebner, and I want to say James Storm.
Yeah, so basically it's people that have put in the most amount of years, pretty much.
Pretty much anyone that wasn't at the time put in the Hall of Fame either, because Sting and the Dudleys weren't in there. Yeah.
I heard an interesting thing. Okay, because I was watching. It was my first time watching, even because now that I started watching the WWE Network, I saw the whole Edge and Christian series.
Oh yeah, that's a good show.
But I heard an interesting rumor. How did it go? Was it who was going into their Hall of Fame or something like that? But something happened, and it was Ric Flair's Hall of Fame induction. Ric Flair was under contract, I believe, at the time
Oh, yeah.
at TNA.
Yeah.
And in order to have permission to borrow Ric Flair from TNA, in exchange they asked to borrow Christian for a day.
Right. Yeah, I remember that.
So that was pretty interesting. I didn't know about that.
Yeah. I don't think Christian wanted to be there, but he had to because WWE sent him over because they wanted Flair for the Four Horsemen.
TNA will always be, I think, Christian's best moment in his whole career.
He was the main eventer there, for the longest. He had a brief world title run in WWE, but it wasn't, as, I guess, big as it probably should have been. He definitely had a more prominent role in TNA during his time here.
But that Edge and Christian show, that was pretty entertaining. How come it's taken so long for another season?
It's coming out in November.
Yeah, I saw Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah.
He had a post.
I don't know why it's taking so long. It takes a while to shoot. I think they took a while to initially renew it and shoot it again, which is why it's taking so long. What other Camp WWE is going on? Those are every Sunday. I don't know if you've seen those. Those are funny.
I haven't had a chance yet to see that.
Table for Three?
Yeah, I just started. I just watched the first 2 episodes, I think.
Okay.
But
those are always good.
New Day.
Yeah.
That was really interesting, the whole story of how they got together.
Oh, yeah. They were all kind of struggling, and then they kind of were put together, and then, the original gimmick was a lot different than what they're doing now.
I know. There was, 2 misconceptions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
One of them, they thought they were going to be a gospel group.
That's one of them, and because that was originally, I think, what they were going for.
Yeah.
Or what Vince wanted.
And the other was, people assumed they were going to be the new Nation Domination.
Yeah, that was another one, because they came in initially when they first cut the promo. I guess Xavier Woods, they sounded angry, so it kind of went with that Nation of Domination vibe. But obviously it changed, and they wanted to be a heel team, I think, and Vince made them the babyface team. And finally, when they turned heels, when they finally got, the rocket strapped to 2 of them, and they became so popular.
And it was interesting because I know the Big Show just recently spoke in an interview too, talking about how he tried to discourage Kofi from joining. Because Kofi was the most prominent.
Yeah, he had been already a multiple-time champion, tag team, intercontinental, and United States champion. So
yeah,
he had already been established as a singles wrestler. But it's a good thing that Kofi joined, because that's what makes the group. All 3 of them together make that group so strong, and they make each other great.
Yeah, and I think they made Freebird style more popular again, because I didn't really buy into the whole Spirit Squad when they tried to do. It was just.
It didn't work. It wasn't as effective. I think the New Day definitely brought it back to where now every other team that you see kind of is doing Freebird. You see Sanity have done it in NXT. Undisputed Era have done it in NXT when Bobby Fish got hurt for the tag team titles. Yeah, there's a lot, and I'm sure even in the indies that's happened. Anytime you have a 3-man group or more, they could fill in spots and stuff. So they definitely brought back that Freebird, which is why they inducted the Freebirds in the Hall of Fame a couple of years ago too. It kind of makes sense. But yeah, Table for 3 has been good. The latest one with Edge and Christian and the Hardys, which is Table for 4 in that episode. But that one's a good one to check out. Another one was the Elias, Jeff Jarrett, and Road Dogg episode, which was before that. That one was funny. And we found out that Elias is actually coming out with an actual album. They actually recorded it. And they did also Elias Unplugged, which is going to be on the network, which they shot during WrestleMania weekend in New Orleans. So, those are actually happening. So, we just don't know when, but that's really cool.
Did you hear about Eric Bischoff? I guess there was an interview about. They asked him about Bret Hart.
Oh no! What was it?
About the time where he wanted to get him to come from WWE to WCW.
I know he's doing a podcast, 83 weeks or something. He's doing where I think he's talking about, I guess, a time where either Nitro, I'm assuming Nitro was defeating Raw in the ratings. So I think he's going through every episode. I haven't heard anything, but I've seen the post, and it's called 83 Weeks or something like that, where I'm assuming he's talking about the Monday Night War.
Yeah, because they were asking him about, did he have any intentions of having Brett like drop the belt, like humiliate WWE like he did with the women's championship belt?
Brett didn't want to do it, right? Or
yeah, he didn't want to do it. Like, he talked about how like he respected Brett, and he knew that coming from the lineage of the Hart family, that Brett wouldn't do such a thing of like trashing a belt.
Right, like Medusa
Yeah.
did with the women's title. Right. So yeah, I forgot where I was gonna go next.
And then I guess when he signed him, he was injured.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's right. I don't think he wrestled for a while.
Yeah, so they were like.
And then he got injured, obviously, again, and his career ended with the Goldberg incident.
And that he felt that like fans, some people think that like Brett's bitter towards Bischoff, that like he didn't get quite the push that he would have wanted. His WCW career wasn't as great as he would have wanted.
No, he was in the mid card for the most part. I mean, he was United States champion, and was he world champion? I think he might have been world champion actually, but his career was, compared to WWE, where he was kind of the man for a few years, you know, back and forth with Shawn Michaels. I mean, his career was lackluster in WCW.
But I mean, most people, they left, you know, WWE to go to WCW because financially for their family, they were getting big paydays.
Yeah, they were guaranteed contracts, you know, and Hall and Nash were the reason for those kind of deals. I mean, WWE wasn't giving guaranteed money at the time to anyone until, you know, it was later on that they did. But yeah, that's what happens there. So
I find it funny though when I was watching that Edge and Christian show to see Virgil there, because I guess I was hearing that there was a time where he had a fallout with the $1 Million Man.
Yeah, I haven't heard much about that, but it would not surprise me. I mean, Virgil is not popular amongst a lot of the wrestlers, I think.
Oh man,
which is interesting. It's funny.
I can't believe how they. I guess the rumor is that Virgil, in order to like get into like bookings and stuff, he would lie and say if you book him, the $1 Million Man would automatically make an appearance.
That's funny. Have you seen photos of Virgil and like these wrestling cons or whatever? And he just has his booth and no one's there. Oh. He charges for everything, apparently. Which I mean, it makes sense, but it's like you're charging. I think he's charging a lot more than what he really should be charging.
Yeah,
which is funny.
That's hard when you come from WWE and you think you could like charge like a ton when you're trying.
Right, and he was never a big star.
Yeah,
he was the valet or manager for $1 Million Man, and then he was in NWO for a little bit, but he wasn't a big part of the NWO.
And I know that when Ryback first got released, apparently he was asking for a lot of money too per appearance.
Well, Emma too. She wanted first class accommodations.
Oh wow.
Airplane first class accommodations, and she wanted booking control over her character. Like in matches, like she wanted control over that. So, I mean, she's doing really well from what I've seen in the independent scene. But yeah, she was asking for quite a bit. So I mean, if you could make the money, I guess why not? But yeah, it's definitely a hefty price. And speaking of the network, I mean, Ride Along is another good show. I don't know if you checked that one out, but that one you should check that one out.
Slowly catching up to them.
You gotta get through Table for Three and then do some Ride Along. I think those are fun.
I got to see the Jerry the King Lawler special.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
It talks about his story of how he became a wrestler and stuff like that.
I might have seen. I don't think I have. There's quite a good amount of specials there to check out.
I don't know. He's quite the talented illustrator. He can draw.
Oh yeah, he's big into those Marvel stuff and DC. I don't know, he posted a picture the other day of, I guess it's garage or something, where he has a bunch of memorabilia.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So he's big into that too, and yeah, he could definitely draw. He's into that kind of stuff. So.
Like, I didn't know that's how he entered the business.
Yeah. It's fascinating to hear kind of backstories of a lot of these wrestlers. WWE 24 is another good one.
What's that one about?
They go, it's not a weekly, but it's a series where they go into specific days or superstars. So they've had episodes with WrestleMania. They've done that the last two or 3 years. Or it's WWE 24 WrestleMania, whatever, WrestleMania weekend, where it's kind of giving a backstage view of WrestleMania, and they interview the superstars and everything. They've done one with Finn Balor. They've done one with Booker T, I believe. They've done one with I want to say Kevin Owens. I could be wrong, but they did a 365 with Kevin Owens, which is going a year and throughout his entire career. But yeah, WWE24 is essentially a documentary that goes kind of behind the scenes. With Finn Balor's, he did it with kind of his comeback, him going through the rehab, and when he got injured on at SummerSlam, so they kind of they show that, and then they go through his kind of regimen of getting back to his return essentially.
Wow.
And so it's really cool. They did one with Seth Rollins, the same thing too. When he was injured, they did that with him. Those are really interesting. They did one with Kurt Angle and his comeback, and they show him with Vince kind of meeting up for the first time in 11 years. It's crazy. So definitely check that out when you get a chance. A lot of good content on there.
Cool. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Did you know that 71% of students at Long Beach State receive financial aid? In 2016, Long Beach State awarded $12.3 million in scholarships. Not only that, each year more than 1,500 students are served by disabled student services, leaving no barriers in their path to an education. At the beach, we know no barriers. It's a philosophy that applies to everything we do.
One in 5 students on CSU campuses experience food insecurity while in college, according to a study commissioned by CSU Chancellor Timothy White. The Associated Student Beach Pantry operates as an official food pantry for Long Beach State students. The pantry provides non-perishable food items for students in need. Also housed in the beach pantry is the Student Swap Shop program, aimed at providing students with an opportunity to swap unneeded or old school supplies. The Student Beach Pantry exists on the generous donations of students.
I didn't know they added a feature where you could scroll back to comment.
To donate,
This is why we said huge marks.
What happened?
This is why we said huge marks.
Oh.
And we are back.
This is episode 53 of Beyond the Ropes. I'm Ethan.
I'm Rob.
And of course, we are on Facebook.com/Beyond the Ropes. Give us a like on that page where we post videos, predictions, and any other things we want to post. We are currently on You Now with the hashtag
Ask questions.
And on Periscope. Where can they find us there?
Live pro wrestling show, and they can look up on the map Cal State Long Beach.
And of course, our social media is at EthanNV95.
Rob Flores Media.
And of course, find us on YouTube. Beyond the Ropes. The videos are on there too, I believe, correct?
Yes.
Cool. I was looking for some news here. First off, William Regal has been off TV for a couple of months of NXT. He is the general manager of NXT. Apparently, he's been dealing with some health issues, so hopefully get well soon.
Wow.
He recently turned 50 years old, so.
I got to see briefly his table for 3 about
with who?
The King of the Ring. It was Sheamus and Wade Barrett.
I think I've seen. Yeah, that's an old one, huh? That's an early one. Yeah.
Because I barely started watching the first 2 or 3
okay.
table for 3s, and they talked about how each of their run as King of the Ring.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know that William Regal actually, when they asked him, he mentioned what was his favorite moment in his career, and surprisingly, it was the Las Vegas roulette one where he had to dress up.
Where he had to dress up.
Because he wanted to express comedy.
Right, yeah. He's a really funny comedic, individual too. He can be very serious, as we've seen, his characters, but he has some really cool comedic moments. And that one was definitely a memorable one.
And then the Jericho T.
The Jericho T where, Jericho left a surprise in for, I guess he was general manager or commissioner at the time.
Yeah, I think he was commissioner.
But yeah, that was funny.
Wow.
But yes, he's currently the NXT general manager. He's been off TV for a couple months since before WrestleMania, apparently, with health issues. So hopefully, get well soon.
And I like how when he was mentioning about when he was King of the Ring, he did mention that he didn't really have a chance to wear the crown, because I think at the time, the King of the Ring had already been gone for quite a while.
It was
Someone
in
they-
2008.
Yeah, it was
I
like
think.
abrupt. It was just incorporated into just Raw.
Yeah,
They didn't
I
know
remember
what
that.
to do.
I remember it was just like a full night of King of the Ring matches.
And he's one of the few that he didn't wear any attire about royalty.
Yeah, it was just like the one-time thing.
He
I
just
think
wanted
it
to
did.
portray an evil king.
That would have been amazing. Because
Wow.
I mean, if you look at, it was Sheamus, right? Sheamus and Wade Barrett, right? Okay, so
Yeah.
Sheamus, I mean, I don't think it fit Sheamus all that well. That kind of King Sheamus gimmick. And Wade Barrett's was interesting, but it became a little more comedic after a while.
Oh yeah, the Bad News Barrett.
It eventually led to Bad News Barrett, yeah, which was funny. But I think his run with the Crown just didn't work as well. I think William Regal would have, especially with the faction, would have worked well as King Regal. I think that would have been amazing. And I think he won the Intercontinental Championship shortly after or something like that. Or he just lost it or something.
And
So-
his knuckles, he talked
His
about
brass
that.
knuckles, yeah. I mean,
The airport.
they stopped him, right? They stopped him, right?
Yeah, he said that he carried like some plastic ones just in case people want to take pictures and stuff.
Yeah, because he was known for the brass knuckles. I mean, that was
Yeah.
kind of his thing. No one else has really utilized them like that, or as much as he has. So
Yeah, only Flair like maybe once.
yeah, I can't really think of anyone that uses them specifically like all the time. So let's talk about this week. Monday Night Raw, SmackDown Live. Roman was off TV. Apparently wanted to spend some time with his family, so nothing there. The Intercontinental Championship match between Jinder and Seth Rollins ended in a disqualification after Seth used the steel chair.
Wow.
So, I mean, Jinder might be getting a rematch. Who knows? He's still going to challenge Roman Reigns at Money in the Bank. So, I don't know exactly what Seth is, his feud. He doesn't really have a feud right now. He's not in the ladder match. And so we'll see, I guess, where Seth fits into the picture. Actually, after the match, he actually interrupted Elias when he came out for his match. And then after the match, Seth kind of was standing on the announce table.
Oh yeah, I saw that online.
And
Yeah,
then
so-
Elias he hit him with his guitar, and then so that would be his next storyline. I'm assuming Money in the Bank. We're gonna get that Intercontinental Championship match between those two.
Maybe they'll still squeeze in Ginger.
Well, he's fighting Roman.
Oh, okay.
He's fighting Roman at Money in the Bank, so I think we're probably gonna move past that, since Elias attacked Seth, so which I'm happy about. I think Elias is great. His character is one of the most over characters right now in WWE. So let's talk about. Let's see what else. Sasha Banks qualified for the Money in the Bank ladder match, so I believe all the contestants have been announced. Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks,
Charlotte
Natalia.
Flair oh yeah,
Money in the Bank.
It's cross-branded.
It's
type of
cross-branded,
money?
yeah. So it's Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, I just mentioned Alexa Bliss, Natalia, Naomi, and I'm missing someone else.
Is Alexa? Alexa's in.
I
right?
mentioned Alexa.
Yeah.
Alexa,
Lana, no? Did you say Lana last time?
Lana. That's where I forgot.
No, it's something because
So
it would be
That's only
interesting if
7.
Lana did win, but the internet rumors going around is that it's Alexa. Alexa or Natalia. Right now, that's what's
because it would
circulating.
fit with the Nia Jax and Ronda Rousey storyline. Natalia is good friends with Ronda, and Alexa just had that feud with Nia Jax, and she could get. It would be a perfect opportunity for revenge, too, if they want to go that route. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it could go either way. Let me look at all the contestants again because I think I missed it. I missed one. But yeah, I mean, let's see. I don't think Charlotte's gonna win. She doesn't need it. Trying to think who else. Becky Lynch might need it. She hasn't done anything in months.
I mean, she's already legitimate. Like she's had the
legitimate,
belt.
but
I mean, I think Money in the Bank is built for people that have never held a belt yet. Usually.
Cena won that once.
Oh, that's why he lost.
He lost, but who else? Who else won it that was champion already? Randy.
Oh yeah.
He cashed in. I think Miz is gonna win the men's. I think Miz is gonna cash in. Daniel Bryan's gonna win that title. At some point, Miz is gonna cash in on him, and that's where we're gonna see the feud.
Daniel, I've heard his contract's gonna expire.
And he hasn't
Yeah.
signed yet. He could just be waiting out for more money, because I don't know. I mean,
I mean,
I don't know.
considering his body, I don't. Okay, supposedly the way it goes is, unfortunately, he's been going like all in. Like, he hasn't decided to have like a Brock type.
Right,
He's
he's
been
going.
going-
He's wrestling
yeah.
He's been wrestling every week.
And I don't think that's wise necessarily, considering his body broke down last time.
If he goes to New Japan,
Yeah.
it's more dangerous. They're stiff there. He's risking, I think, a
I
lot
mean,
more.
he could be like Jericho and have like
He could.
one and go to like
I don't
Ring
think
of
he would
Honor.
want to. Same thing with Ring of Honor. They could be.
Because we see a lot of
There's
big names
limits.
that keep going now over there to Ring of Honor. Cody's really elevating Ring of Honor.
Oh, he is definitely. I don't know. I just feel like he's in a comfortable spot right now. He's got the audience and he's got everyone there, and he's making a lot of money.
Mhm.
I'm sure. I don't know if it would be wise for him to go off, try and get some dream matches in, and risk his, well-being. I'm sure it might be safer with him, but still risky when going over there.
Yeah, because isn't he doing even the house shows?
Yeah, he's doing everything. He's a full-time.
Wow.
But at the same time, they still have limits in WWE. They're not gonna let him do everything, every type of move. So I don't know. Ember Moon was the person I was missing. I don't know why I forgot Ember Moon, but in the Money in the Bank ladder match, I'm predicting. That's a tough one to predict for the women's. You say. I don't want.
It'll be the only way she'll actually win the belt.
Well, I was hearing rumors that she was just gonna go back to being a manager for Rusev, so, and stop wrestling altogether. But who knows? Kind of want Ember to win, but I don't think she'd need it. And it would make sense for a heel to win.
Mhm.
But there's not really any heels. There's Alexa Bliss, and then that's it actually. Lana, but she's not really a heel because people cheer for her, and Rusev. Alexa Bliss, I think, would make the most sense, honestly. For the men's, it's Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, The Miz, Rusev, Kevin Owens, Bobby Roode, a member of the New Day, which has yet to be announced still.
A lot of people say it's Biggie though.
Probably. Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe qualified, defeating...
Oh man, that's a tough one between Joe and Rude.
It's going to be Braun Strowman or The Miz.
I mean, Braun could easily just get a title shot easily. Like, he don't need that.
He doesn't need it, but that doesn't mean they're not going to give it to him.
And then to see that giant be on the ladder, wow.
They've had the big ladder before for Big Show, I think. They're twice as ladder that's twice the size.
I remember at ECW, he didn't even want to climb. He was telling them, "No, just bring it down."
No, that's right. That was Big Show. Yeah. My top three would be Strowman, Balor, and Miz. I feel like Miz would win it because he's a heel. Is he the only heel there?
Bobby and Joe would be better.
Joe would be better. I don't know. Bobby needs a character revamp or something.
Yeah, at least if he had that briefcase, that'll help him so much.
It would, but he needs to turn heel. I think he needs to turn heel. His run in NXT as a heel was great. Since coming to the main roster as a face, it just hasn't worked as well. He's not getting the same reaction he was in NXT, or even when he first came up. He's kind of lost some steam, so he needs something. And the Money in the Bank would be great, but I don't know if they'd want to give it to him just yet. He is older though, so he's kind of limited on time.
Yeah, because then at least they could just keep the briefcase on him and just keep investing in him for a couple of months before he ever cashes in.
Yeah, I mean that would make sense. Carmella versus Asuka for the Women's Championship is coming up as well at Money in the Bank. They kind of had a stare down this past week. Nothing. Kind of that storyline has kind of been underground. Carmella was on commentary this week, while Asuka had a match against Mandy Rose in which Asuka won. But otherwise, not a whole lot of story development. The Raw Women's Championship match between Nia Jax and Ronda Rousey is heating up. Nia Jax is officially heel, so she's kind of turned into what Alexa Bliss was saying before, where Alexa called Nia a bully. Essentially, that's Nia Jax's character now. She's turned into a bully, so Alexa Bliss was right, where she was bullying essentially a jobber, an enhancement talent, I guess, while Ronda Rousey was on commentary. And she was essentially on the mic during the match, telling the enhancement talent that to put her in an armbar and stuff, and do stuff that Ronda Rousey would do, and Nia Jax would easily escape, and completely decimated that person, and she pretty much told Ronda to her face that she was not afraid of her, and so Nia Jax is officially heel, which is, I mean, kind of hypocritical of her considering the previous storyline, but I mean, it works as a heel. It develops her character, and it could really go either way in that match. So, AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura in that last man standing match. We saw some more story development. Shinsuke defeated Ty Dillinger this past week on SmackDown. No face-off this week between those two, but I expect more in the next week or so.
We'll get another commercial break and we'll be right back.
Let's take a pop quiz. Which of the following are some efficient techniques of recycling? A. Taking the bottle cap off plastic bottles before recycling them, since only the actual bottle is recyclable. B. Crushing aluminum cans to fit as many cans into the recycling bin as possible and to reduce the use of garbage bags. C. Placing all of your electronic waste into a box, then disposing of them at your local Goodwill or any certified e-waste center. Or D. All of the above. The answer is D. All of the above. For more information, email ASI Recycling at asi-recycling@csulb.net.
Getting ready to wrap up the show in the next few minutes. With some last minute topics. Any topics we have? I was thinking of a dream scenario where there would be a new Four Horsewomen, but it would feature Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, who's currently in NXT.
Oh, she's great.
Yeah, she's
great.
great.
I saw the promo they had on her.
I've got to watch that. Bianca Belair, Shayna Baszler, and Tessa Blanchard, who is not signed with WWE.
Yes,
but
Tessa needs to return.
And with kind of a manager, because the original Four Horsemen had a manager, of Alundra Blaze. That was kind of my dream. I was just thinking about that the other day. Because Charlotte would work as her father's kind of character in the Four Horsewomen. The Ric Flair character. Tessa also is a legacy member of the Four Horsemen. And I think Bianca Belair is a strong up-and-comer. I think a lot of people are praising her now. And Tessa who am I missing? Oh, Shayna Baszler would work kind of as the enforcer character of that group, kind of like Arn Anderson was. And then, of course, I think Alundra Blaze is one of the more underrated mic specialists, so I think she would work as a good manager. So, I don't know, I was just thinking about that the other day. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Kind of dream thinking there. Probably won't ever happen, but, it's a dream sequence. And speaking of women, WWE just signed a few women of their own. Let me look it up here. We got some news early this week that WWE signed Io Shirai. I think I might be butchering her name, but Io Shirai, a well-known Japanese wrestler who's very skilled apparently, and apparently she's been signed to a WWE contract, so she'll be coming in the next few months, probably to NXT, as I would expect most people do. Yeah, WWE has just been picking up stars left and right.
Wow,
So
I heard there's a promotion. I forget the name.
there's Shimmer.
WL or something like that, or something. But
There's a
WWE
couple of
is
them.
desperate to get a lot of their superstars signed because they have a very unique contract with that.
Oh yeah, I read that somewhere. I forgot the promotion. It was a British promotion, right? Or
It was
UK?
very, very interesting.
Yeah. Let's see what else. What else can we talk? About? John Cena apparently had an interview this week where he talked about the Velveteen Dream. And he said he could be the one.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, his character's... He's very strong with that character, and he's a good athlete. I saw that gif or gif of Ricochet.
The jump?
Jump over the...
Wow.
I gotta see that. That looks really cool. Yeah, that's a good story. And that match, I would expect, will be at next TakeOver Chicago.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
That'll be a good match. Let's see. Did they have any Undisputed Era news in NXT this week? Or were they off TV?
They just mentioned it. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting his name. He's one of the tag champs right now.
Kyle O'Reilly or
No, the new one.
Roger Strong?
Yeah, he's gonna face off one of the guys that they fought in the 6-man tag.
Oney Larkin or
Oh, he's one of them.
Danny Burch?
I think so. Yeah.
Danny Burch?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
one of those. Yeah, he's gonna wrestle him.
Next week?
Yeah.
Next week, okay. I like their promos. It's very NWO style. They have the music in the background too.
Yeah.
And it's almost cheesy, but it's kind of fun. Same time. That's just who they... If you watch their... they're always posting on Twitter. If you follow one of them will always have it. Either Adam Cole or Roger Strong or Kyle O'Reilly or Bobby Fish. But they'll always have a video of them just cutting just hilarious promos on Twitter. So that's something to look out for. We've got another minute or two, right?
Yeah.
Alright, so we've got about 2 weeks till Money in the Bank. So we're going to give our next... I think next week is our prediction week. So we'll give that. I think the matches are almost set. We'll give our predictions for next week. Hopefully we find out maybe more news on the Fox deal. I mean, we've been hearing a whole lot about Fox and SmackDown Live. We didn't mention that Shane McMahon had surgery the other week for his hernia. So he's been off for a few weeks. Paige has kind of been taking control of that. Yeah, there's a lot to look forward to. Money in the Bank should be a really good pay-per-view. And hopefully we get a really good episode of Raw this week. This was a bit lackluster, but apparently, they were competing against the NBA Finals or the playoffs, and so they weren't really putting their best forward. So hopefully we get a better show on Monday. SmackDown was great, and we see more developments moving forward. Until then, do we have anything else to?
205. What a great title defense.
I heard, and I did not see it.
He had like some Spider-Man type of attire.
The blue and red?
The black and red.
Oh, it's black?
Yeah, it was like
Okay.
webs on his arms.
Oh, those are new. All right.
Yeah.
Because I think he's worn like blue and red attire before or something, like
Yeah.
Spider-Man-esque.
And then they were in like...
They were in his home.
Yeah, in
North
university.
Carolina. Yeah, North Carolina.
So that was pretty cool. Great to see that he was able to beat Murphy, because for a second there I thought that they were building up Murphy already immediately winning the belt. I was like, oh wait.
I would have been fine with that.
He was dominating
He's-
for a while.
he's a really good
focusing
performer.
on Cedric's back.
Okay. So I got to catch up on 205, finish NXT, catch up on Camp WWE. You got to catch up on some Table for 3
Yeah.
and get into the other network shows. But I think we're out of time here.
Yeah.
So let's get off the air. Once again, I'm Ethan.
I'm Rob.
And as always, you can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/BeyondTheRopes. Until next time, this episode is about to be deleted.